you guys are in luck today because this dish is dang good. So this is a Hong Kong crispy noodle with shredded pork and yellow chives. It's a very traditional dish. When you translate it, it translates into kind of two sides golden brown, and it refers to the crispy noodles underneath. And today we're going to be baking those noodles and turning it nice and crispy as opposed to frying. So I'm going to start off by taking out 2 portions of these yellow thin wheat noodles. And typically Hong Kong crispy noodles are done with an egg noodle of the same, basically of the same texture, shape, and color. And nowadays in Asian grocery stores, you can get the same version, but without the egg. So I'm gonna cook it maybe a little bit shorter than according to package instructions because we're going to be baking it as well. So keeping it kind of like nice and al dente. And afterwards, I'm going to give it a sprinkling of salt as well as 1.5 tablespoons of vegetable oil. So I'm pretty much making a little plate nest out of this, and this goes into the oven 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes until the edges get nice and golden brown and you know that it is crunchy. So the second part of this recipe is to prepare the vegetables, and you need about 1/2 cup of these Chinese chives. Usually you use the light yellow ones, but I could not find any, so light green it is, and I'm using some scallions just to kind of substitute for that color. And you only need 1/2 cup, so I'm cutting way more than necessary. Yes, I did not soak my mushrooms long enough, so typically you do it for a couple of hours. And I had 3 shiitake mushrooms in 1.25 cups of water. And sometimes you just want to cut off that stump in the middle because that's the hard bit, and then cut it into strips like so. So I've used these dehydrated soya chunks before. They are super convenient, and I'll try to put a link down below for you guys. But all you do is you boil it or you rehydrate it in some light vegetable stock, and then they become meaty pieces like this. So again, you want to cut it into strips because that typically is how the pork, which we are mimicking, is cut. So step 3, time for the sauce. I have some of that reserved mushroom liquid, and then to that I'm gonna add some sugar, some soy sauce, you're gonna see vegan oyster sauce, white pepper, sesame oil, etc., etc. Recipe is going to be down below, and it's just a basic stir-fry sauce. So just whisk all of that together, and then afterwards I am going to be making a slurry to thicken up that sauce. I do this quite often. I like to check the focus on the camera. So I'm going to be putting in the soya strips as well as the mushrooms, and over medium-high heat, I'm just going to pan fry it for right about a minute. And that just dries things out just a little bit so that they are better able to absorb all of that sauce. So I simmered the soy strips and the mushrooms for 3 to 4 minutes just so that it can absorb all of that flavor, and then I'm putting in my slurry and then cooking it right until it starts to thicken. I put the chives in the last minute or so because I don't really want them too cooked, but just slightly wilted. So afterwards, make sure you try it out for flavor. Does it need more salt? Does it need more pepper? Do you want to water it down a little bit? All of that goes into that, and then you can turn this guy off. So I have a lovely vintage Ming style plate here. Pay no attention to the robot in the middle. And the noodles, wow, they came out so crispy. They came out so well. Like, I don't think you should ever fry this dish, which, by the way, it typically is done like that. And then it gets your house all nice and oily, which is wonderful. But anyways, this sauce, it's just so meaty and savory, and then you get the chewiness from the chives as well, and then that just serves to soften the middle of that nest so that the outside is crunchy, but the inside is just nice and comforting. I love this dish. Like, give me crispy noodles any day. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this recipe, and I don't know if you saw my comment from last time, but if any of you are making some of the recipes from the channel, please tag me in on it. I want to see it. I want to see how it turns out, because I'm always so excited to hear from you guys what you think, or if there's any little fixes that I should be aware of or whatnot. So definitely tag me in on it. The socials are down in the description box, and I will see you guys all again next time. Bye.